welcome, guys. I am ready to do this next video. So, this one, second day of the 4 video series. This one's gonna be the first day that we see a Marine. It's gonna lead up into midnight, which is when we left to become Marines. All right. So today, at 4 a.m., we woke up. We woke up to those hotel alarm clocks. It was tough to learn how to use one of those, but some of them worked, some of them didn't, which is why we were gonna knock on each other's doors. But I mean, at 3:30, I woke up to the alarm so I could take a shower real quick because I always took showers in the morning. And I remember shaving after that shower and throwing that into the garbage, the razor. I was like that's the I'm throwing away one of my only things that I have, which was like, I don't know. I just remember that, and it was pretty a deep meaning at the time. All right. The second thing we did, we all got together. We knocked on each other's doors, making sure everybody was up until all 10 of us were outside. Then we walked to the front door to the hotel so we could get picked up by our recruiters that were going to meet us at 4 a.m. After they picked us up, they were talking to us, making sure we all knew what was happening. Not so much the motivation talks, but more the process. All right, it was more the process of like what's about to go down. They then, once we arrived at the airport, which is like an hour away, they handed us some government checks. I forget what they call them, but it can't be government bonds, right? Like that keeps coming to mind. But they didn't give us stocks; they gave us checks, just so we could buy food. It was like $20 each. Yeah, and then they left us at the airport. They're like, "There you are. You guys been to an airport yet?" And a lot of us had not. So imagine that. Like they had to go and walk us to the receptionist to get us all signed in because we had never done that before, most of us on our own. So this is our first flight alone, basically, and we're just jumping into manhood. Yeah, everything went smoothly, though, and we ended up going to our layover that was in Ohio or something. I think it was Ohio or Pennsylvania. I don't even know if those two are together. Whatever. Anyway, once we arrived to Ohio, we walked out, and we found out that there was a huge storm that had canceled our second layover. That was in like North Carolina or something. I forget where it was. I forget all the states, but we had like 2 or 3 layovers. So it canceled our layover, and we were like, "What?" We're like, "Oh God!" Like we're going to boot camp. So we literally ran over to the receptionist that was in charge of the cancellations and stuff, and we told him the scenario. Like, look, we're leaving for boot camp. We have to be there by this time. We have to. We can't. And we're thinking in our minds, like, if we have to wait another week to be picked up, like, picked up as in our pickup date, like, getting picked up by the next company, and we're going to, like, we'll have a nervous breakdown. That'd be crazy. So we told him the scenario, and he's like, look, like, obviously he couldn't change a thing. So he told us the flight was going to be delayed and redirected to some other state. I forget, again, where it was. And then back to South Carolina where they were going to go and that was the last destination. South Carolina is where Parris Island is. Yeah, once we found out that the cancellation was and the delay was like a couple hours, a lot of us left for a phone. So we tried to find a phone booth or something like that to call our loved ones and tell them that we were safe and that our flight was redirected, but we're all good. I bet a lot of us kept that out so that we could just keep our family, happy. But anyway. Oh man, I remember that call. Yeah, so I mean, okay, well, first of all, when we got to the phone place, there was already a group of soon-to-be recruits making calls. All right, so there's already a bunch of guys who were leaving for boot camp, and because our layovers and stuff were like starting to narrow us down from all across the states, we were all going to one place. So we started at the phone booths or at McDonald's. We would see people in similar attire, and yeah, we would talk to them and be like, "Hey, you leaving for Marine Corps boot camp?" They're like, "Yeah," and yeah, it's pretty intense that way because we all started finding each other. Excuse me, just ate breakfast. Now, yeah, the phone place, there was a receptionist that was making us letting us make free calls because we didn't actually have any money with us. I mean, some of us brought some money, but they used it all up prior, whatever it was. Like, for some reason, we just wanted to wait for the free calls. I guess we didn't have much change with us. We had the checks, but, I mean, you can only break that down so many times. we got the idea to go to McDonald's. So me and some of the other guys who I just met, we were like, hey, let's go to the government, or let's go to the McDonald's to use our government checks, and then get some change from that. And yeah, and then we could just pig out on McDonald's one last time, you know. So we went there, and we got some change, cashed in our checks basically, and there was a bunch of people behind us waiting. And we had a bunch of extra money, and we knew that we weren't gonna need it. So, and it was free money from the government, so we're like, whatevs. We paid for everybody who was behind us, everything they wanted. A lot of people, they had like a bunch of kids and stuff, so it was cool. Like we were able to go and just, you know, treat them to McFlurries, each of them. Oh man, I would have been so happy as a kid. Yeah, and then once we had change, instead of waiting for the line, like everybody went back to that same area, just trying to get that free call or in the line for the phones that were in that specific phone booth. Now I went off down the terminals, like way down, to find a phone booth that wasn't being used. Where yeah, and then I found it, and as soon as I found it, I had like 8 quarters. So I was like, okay, sweet. So I put the quarters in there. I never used one before. It was like that metal like seat. It was really weird. I remember sitting down, and it was kind of weird, and it was sound canceling and stuff. I don't know if you guys have seen one of those. Now I went there. I called my girlfriend, and I remember calling her. I was just telling her how much I loved her, and to tell my parents, I love them, and I'm doing good. Everything's good, and I basically just kept telling her I love her. I wish she kept that voicemail. I want to hear what I sound like, but I might ask her later. We're on good terms, but whatever. Yeah, after I did that, I left for the terminal. I probably called her for like 15 minutes or something. That was the max, but you know, it was a long call. And it was just voicemail. She was at school, so yeah. Then I left for the terminal. Met with we were with all the other guys. So instead of 10 of us, there's now 20 of us, and we were all on the same path on the same plane ride. And that was the first time that I realized that no matter how nervous you are, like, and this is going to help you throughout boot camp, like, no matter how nervous you are or how worried or how upset or whatever the emotions are, like, time is on your side. And that's when I realized we were on the plane. Time had gotten us past that delay and past that, that storm, and we were now on a plane ride, and the time was going to, like, go past, and we were going to arrive at the other state an hour later. Like, time will go by. No matter how long those 3 months go by, like, no matter how they feel, they're going to go by 3 months. That is how long it will take. But, I don't know. I just realized that, and it was pretty good realizing that, especially right before boot camp. We arrived, got off the plane, not knowing what to expect. Yeah, and then, I forget if... See, I feel like there was another flight in between there, just like a 30-minute flight, a really short one. But I'll just skip to the one where we arrived to South Carolina, because it's just kind of plane rides, and wasn't much in between, I'm pretty sure. Now yeah, we arrived to South Carolina, and when we got off the plane, there was the regular signs that had like hello in different languages and stuff, and there's people staring at us. Trying to find like the people, like businessmen or whatever it was. But then in the corner, right after we got past all those people, in the corner, there was a Marine. He was wearing his Charlie, so like he had his Marine uniform, not the camo, but like the Marine uniform, and he was in parade rest. And we didn't know if that was a drill instructor. We didn't know who that was, and it was freaky. So we saw him, and I motioned to the others. I was like, "Hey, like he's over there." And so we started walking to him, and then he started staring at us. He started glaring, not like in a really mean, like obnoxious manner, but like after seeing that, we're like, "Oh shit!" So we ended up walking really briskly to the Marine, and yeah, once we got there, we waited at by the Marine, just waiting, huddled next to him basically, and he made sure that we were on the list. Once he found out that all of us were on the list, he was like, "All right, this is all of us that were supposed to be on that flight." He led us down the corner. Like there was so led us behind that corner that he was at, and there was a lobby. All right, there was this lobby, kind of narrow lobby. I mean, it wasn't a hallway, but it was like narrowish. I'm just trying to describe because you guys are going to see this probably. And it had these Marine paintings and battle scenes on the walls, and we were like, here we are. At least we had arrived, right? And they knew that we were arriving at that time. So, that's good, I suppose. We had no idea what to expect. No, have you guys ever heard a story like this? Probably not, unless, like, no, you probably have never heard a story like this, because after 3 months goes by, like, the only people who tell stories like this are, like, your brother or sister who went through boot camp and get back. But they're going to talk about Rifle Week. They're going to talk about, like, the days leading up to boot camp. Like, so, this is important stuff, guys. We saw the Marine paintings, we saw the battle scenes, and he led us down the end of the end of the lobby behind another corner, and that was where we saw this carpet area with about 60 soon-to-be recruits sitting one in front of the other in single lines. So there was just a formation. All of us were sitting, looking at a wall, and so we got there. We filled in the rest of the line, and we started making some other lines of ourselves. All 20 of us, and we all just kind of fit into one unit. Now, they had us sit there for like an hour or so we were just staring at a wall, wondering what was going to happen. We were staring at a wall, so all we could do was just hear what was happening behind us. We didn't really know what it was. We did know that there was like, it was like, what do you call that? Glass doors, plus the automatic doors that open and stuff. They were there. Yeah, and I remember there was like a receptionist there. I think it was like a black lady. And she was mean to us too. And this is one thing, kind of side note. One thing about boot camp that you don't realize is that people are gonna, like, especially the civilians and stuff, they'll be mean to you. They're gonna be really, really nasty to you. And I remember some people were like, oh yeah, okay, so I'll get to that, alright? So they had us sit there, and he asked us if we were hungry, alright, in a stern voice. We all said no, sir, but then he was like, okay, who didn't eat dinner? Because, they have to feed us dinner. They have to give us sleep. Like, they can't torture us like that. They can't, like, neglect us. So he told us, hey, who didn't eat dinner? And some of us said yeah, so he had 4 guys walk up and get some chow. He was like, get the chow behind us. And the girl, that's when the black lady chimed in and was like, it's over here. Like, she was all mean. It was like, so whatever. We were like, what? Like, is she a Marine? But, she was just a receptionist. She's like, whatever. They get so into the military thing that they feel like they're military. The civilians that are like, they're directing us to get chow, and they feel like they're hard asses, whatever. They ended up getting the chow, and it was on these carts that were stacked like 5 high, like of box chow. Now box chow, you're gonna get used to that in the Marine Corps. You're first gonna see that in boot camp. They're like okay chow. What they usually have in them is a sandwich, either with turkey or ham. I love the turkey one. It had some lettuce in it. It was like not a foot long, but probably like a 6-inch sandwich or something. Pretty stacked though. It was nice. It came with mayonnaise, not on it, so don't worry if you don't like mayonnaise. There's some ketchup, just packets in the bottom of the box chow, just 1 each. Had some salt and pepper, which you always want to put the salt on your food because you need the electrolytes. And then there's orange juice, some milk, sometimes some chips, especially in SOI. I think they changed they start giving you some more. Some like yummies, like some cookies and stuff in SOI, but I'm pretty sure there's like chips as well, and then there's always a hard-boiled egg. So that's a thing. All right, so we ate that. I remember I did not feel like eating that. I was like, ew, like gross, like a sandwich with ham. I don't like ham. Like I was such a picky eater going to boot camp, guys. Wow, you're okay. If you're a picky eater, like don't worry, that is gonna get. You're not gonna be a picky eater out of it, and that's just gonna become. It's just gonna be because of necessity. Like you're gonna get like a month into boot camp, you're gonna eat whatever they put in front of you, because you're gonna be starving, like literally starving. So that's a thing to keep in mind. That's like how they like if you go in there like, oh man, I never eat meat or whatever, you're gonna come out eating meat. If you go in there not liking something, you're gonna come out liking it. It just is what it is, which is a good thing. It's a good thing. Now, yeah, so we all ate that, and I'm pretty sure that was it. Yeah, we got done eating. We cleaned up our chow. Some guys they had us like pass our box chow in front of us, which is gonna become like a Like, that's a thing we do in boot camp, is after we're done, we pass all the box chow down to wherever the garbage is. So we passed it down to the guy who had a garbage can, because he had some guy get a garbage can. Whatever, that's too much information. Anyway, midnight hit without us even knowing. All right, so time went by, guys. Midnight hit, and the next day is gonna be the next video. Now, if you guys enjoy this, please let me know. I got your comments on the last video. I do plan on making those videos. I forget what they were, but I plan on making videos that you guys are commenting about. I think they're great ideas. But, yeah. I guess I'll see you guys in the next video. I hope you enjoyed this one. Stay tuned for the next video or two.